Hey everyone, welcome back to our Learn to Code series using Swift Playground. You've got the basics down, now let's take it up a level. In this episode, we're diving into one of the most powerful tools in coding, functions. You'll learn how to create your own commands to simplify your code, clean things up, and solve tougher puzzles faster. Functions are all about grouping tasks together. Every day, we perform a range of tasks automatically without even thinking about what we're doing. In a simple task like tying our shoe, took the time to automate. We learned it doing different sequences of steps. I like to do the rabbit going around the tree. So we do the loop, we do the swoop, and then we do the pull. All of those different commands actually make up a function of tying our shoe. So if we were to create a function, tie my shoe, this is what it would look like. We do all those commands in order, and we can run that command anytime we want. We might even have to do it twice because we have two shoes, maybe more if we're helping somebody else out. To define a function, we use the func keyword and then choose a name. We always follow the function with the parentheses. I like to call them brackets. We then give our function its behavior by adding those commands inside the curly braces. Again, the order matters here. After we define a function, we call it by name in order to run its commands. Before we start coding, I want to show you a trick. If you double press on Byte or your character, you'll actually start to fly up and you can choose between 3 friends to code with. I'm going to swap to this blue character, aptly named Blue, for the rest of this video. Now we got a new friend to work with. So have you ever noticed that there's no turn right command available to us? If our character needs to turn right, how can we make that happen? If we were to try to type out turn right, we'll get an error saying that this command doesn't exist. You can click on the red dot to learn more about the error. If something's not found in scope, it means our character doesn't know how to do it. We need to figure out how to turn our character right when needed. Lucky for us, we do have the ability to turn left. If we were to take our character and turn left 3 times, and you might even want to do this in your chair or stand up, if you turn left 3 times 90 degrees, you will be now facing right. So let's go ahead and try that in our puzzle. Let's move forward 3 times first. Let's do 3 move forward commands. And then we're going to turn left 3 times. We'll then need to move forward 3 times and collect the gem. We're already pros at moving forward and collecting gems, but let's see how this works. So we're going to move forward again, 3rd time, and now we're going to turn left 1, 2, 3 times, and we're kind of facing the right direction. We're able to move forward and finally collect the gem. That was pretty cool. By combining those 3 left turns, we've enabled our character to turn right, even though there's no command for that. This is called composition. We're combining existing code into a new task. Now you're thinking, well, we just learned about functions in the slideshow. Well, in the next playground, we're going to go ahead and learn how we can define the function and then call upon it. So before we tackle the puzzle, let's go ahead and create our turn right function. They've already given us the func keyword and given a name, turn right, with the empty brackets, and now we want to add commands to our functions. So as we learned last time, if we add 3 turn lefts, that essentially turns our character right. Now when we call upon the turn right function, we'll turn left 3 times, essentially turning us right. All right, now that we've built our function, we can actually use it within our puzzle. So for this one, it's pretty easy now that we have our turn right command. We're going to want to move forward to go to this grass piece. From there, we're going to need to turn right because we have to go over here to get down the stairs. I don't think there's stairs there. We could always take this way and go through the teleporter too if we wanted to turn left, but I want to use my turn right commands. And often with these puzzles, there's more than one way to solve them. We'll then want to move forward. We're then going to turn right another time because we need to get down these stairs. From there, we need to move forward 2 times. Notice this switch is currently toggled, so we don't need to toggle it again. We'll then turn right to face towards these stairs. We then go 1, 2, 3, 4. So add 4 move forwards. And I know it's kind of hard to see, so you might want to drag your camera around. There's actually some stairs here. So we'll need to turn right and move down the stairs, followed by toggling the switch. Okay, I'm going to change my place setting to be step through my code. And you'll notice on the left side of the screen here, as we step through the different code, oh, he's going already. Oh, I wasn't ready. As we step through the code, you'll notice that when we go to the turn right, the arrow moves up here, and you can see how it does the 3 turn left commands, because when we're calling upon the function, we're saying, hey, do these 3 commands. Wonderful. We can see he's on his way, progressing through the challenge. Gonna turn. And then finally toggle the switch. Awesome. We wrote our first function, we gave it a name, we defined it with a set of commands, and we called the function. All right, awesome. In this challenge, we need to define a function for a repeating pattern. So if we can see here, we have a lot of instances where we have a gem followed by a switch that we need to toggle. So we can create a function and we can give it any name we want, although it will start with a lowercase letter. And if it has multiple words, it'll have to be camel case. So you can name it whatever you want. I'm going to call this one puzzle solver. The lowercase p and capital S, and it has to be one word. If there's a space, we will get an error. So we're going to use this function to save a lot of time. So the first thing we need to do is move forward, followed by collecting the gem, moving forward, toggling the switch, and then moving forward. Let's go ahead and call upon our puzzle solver real quick and see how it works. And I'm going to do the step through my code so we can watch on the left side. There we go, we're collecting the gem, move forward, toggling the switch, move forward. Wonderful. So now we can combine our function with other commands. So we're going to want to turn left. This should put us one spot behind the toggle here. So we'll need to move forward and then left turn. So let's add that, move forward, turn left. Let's run through our code one more time. So we're going to start off with our puzzle solver as we did before. Then we're going to use our turn left, another puzzle solver. Awesome. So we should be able to do another puzzle solver, followed by a turn left and another puzzle solver. So we should have 4 puzzle solvers, and that should finish us out. Let's go ahead and run this. And because we've already kind of seen it in action, I'm going to do the run faster so we can get through this playground. And there it is. Our function skills are already growing. We're writing our own functions, we're using existing commands, and we're simplifying those complicated repeated actions. All right, we are now going to identify a repeating pattern and define a function. Oh my goodness, there are so many gems here for us to collect. This is ludicrous. So we're going to create a new function here in order to efficiently collect the gems. So I'm going to call this one collect 2 gems because I believe I can collect a few gems, kind of do some turns and repeat this pattern. I'll show you what I'm thinking of. I'm going to call it collect 2 gems. And notice I'm using that camel case here where we have the T and the T, but using that capital allows us to read it easily. So I'm thinking we do a collect gem moment. We're starting on one anyways. We'll then move forward, collect the gem, and then move forward and collect the gem again. So we should be right here, kind of near this cactus, and then we'll want to turn right. So my theory is I'm going to kind of do almost like a spiral pattern. I'm going to go around the perimeter of all of these gems. So I'm going to try and call upon this 3 times, and we'll see where we're at after that. So 1, 2, 3, and I'll show you my idea. I'll even do the step through my code. And there's so many different puzzles, and with those puzzles, there's so many different solutions. So yours might look different than mine if you really want to experiment. So we're on the second go through of collect 2 gems. And here we go. Even though we didn't have a gem on us there, that's totally fine. We're going to turn right. All right, we have 2 more gems for us to collect here. So there's a couple different things we can do. We can either move forward, collect the gem, turn right, move forward, and collect the gem again. Or we can take these commands. I'm on the keyboard. I'm going to Command X. If you're on your iPad, you can select and cut, and I'm going to create my own function. So I'm going to type the func keyword, and I'll give it a name, collect last. I'm going to add my empty brackets here, add my parentheses, and I'm going to paste my code. And now I'm going to add my last, select last. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and run my code and let's see what happens. And I'm going to speed it up just a little bit, as we've already kind of seen this example. I'm going to do the function that I created, the collect last, and we've done it. So you can choose to use those commands. You can even create your own function and call upon it if you'd like. I like to write and use my own functions. This is a major part of what it means to be a coder. With functions, we group those commands and call the function once to run the whole set of commands. Using functions makes code so much more readable and reusable. We are going to learn about nesting patterns where we can actually call functions from functions we've already created. So up to now, the functions that we've defined have only had existing commands such as move forward and collect gem. It doesn't have to be this way though. In our function turnaround, it directs our character to turn around and face the opposite direction. We can call this function inside of another function. This one, it wants us to use solve stair, and we can call that function in our code to solve bigger parts of the function. In our solve stair function, we need to kind of figure out how we can actually collect these gems and move around. Let's take a look at the first gem and we can repeat it from there. We're going to want to move forward and collect the gem. Okay, we should be right here. We have the gem in our hand. We're then going to, within this function, call our turnaround function. Also, if you have a lot of functions at the bottom, you should be able to drag or swipe them around. So let's see what we have to do next. Let's go ahead and run our code with one solve stair. So we grab it, turn around. Okay, so we should be able to then move forward, turn left, and collect the next gem. So let's move forward and then turn left. And then I want to see what happens if we run another solve stair after that. Let's go ahead and run our code. There we go, collects the gem. All right, and now we're running the second solve stair. We're collecting the gem. We should turn around, move forward, and we're facing the third gem. So I think we pretty much have the solution. Let's go ahead and run this 4 times, and let's do the step through code so we can make sure we can follow along. Do the first solve stair, move forward, collect gem, turn around, move forward, turn left. I find using the step through my code allows me to follow what's happening a little bit more closely. And here we are. Look at that. It's pretty cool that we can call functions within other functions. There's gem number 3. Gonna left turn and collect our final gem. Good job. Oh, we're going back to the middle too. Look at that. It's going back to where we started. And the cool thing about this pattern too is if the gems respawned where they were, we'd be able to do this an infinite amount of times. So we were able to take that large problem and break it down into those small, more manageable pieces. This is called decomposition. And then combining those functions to solve the bigger problem is called compositions. You're becoming a great problem solver piece by piece. We have a new puzzle and it wants us to decompose a solution across multiple functions. All right, and it gives us 2 functions to start, the collect gem turn around and the solve row function. And currently in the solve row function, it's calling upon our collect gem turnaround. So let's go ahead and just take a quick look at what this first one looks like. Here we are. So we collect the gem, and as it states, we turn around and we kind of return to where we had started. The cool thing about how this one's set up is we're going to go to the row, turn around, and then we'll just need to kind of go through each of the rows, almost like a zigzag pattern. So for the solve row, it would make sense if we actually had 2 gem turnarounds, because it's going to solve and grab both these gems in the entire row and return us to where we had started. So let's go really quickly and run through this just to confirm our theory. All right, so after this, we'll need to then turn our character right, because we need to get to these other rows of gems. Let's do the one in the middle next. So let's find our turn right, or you can type it out. We'll then want to move forward, and we can either choose to turn right or turn left. I'm going to keep it easy by doing the kind of north row first. So let's go ahead and turn left, and then we'll want to do another solve row. So that should get us both of those gems. So let's go ahead and run this. I'm going to do the faster so we can just confirm that it works. There we go. Okay, now we're going to want to repeat the patterns. We're turning left, solving the row. Wonderful. Okay, awesome. So from here, we then need to turn right, move forward, turn left, and then repeat our pattern. So let's go ahead and do that. Turn right to get towards where we need to go. Forward, turn left, and then let's go ahead and do the solve row. And that should give us the victory. Let's go ahead and run it. All right, doing the first row, easy peasy. We've seen this before. I'm going to do it on the run fastest. We can watch blue do their magic. So we're doing the middle row. Wonderful. Let's see if our new code works. I believe it is going to work. Look at that. That's awesome. By using that decomposition, again, we're breaking down those larger problems into smaller, more manageable parts, making it more readable, reusable, right? Because every time we're calling upon this collect gem and turn around, or even the solve row, imagine all the commands we'd have to give in our editor. That'd be ludicrous. All right, treasure hunt. This is the last challenge, and we need to start by finding small pattern of commands and create a function that calls upon them. We're going to then use that function to start solving pieces of the puzzle. So what I'm noticing right now in terms of patterns, we have one space and then a toggle. Even here, one space toggle, one space toggle, one space toggle. So I think we can make a function. Maybe we'll call it one space and toggle, maybe move and toggle. Oh, we do have an example here, move then toggle. Okay, so let's go ahead and create that function. Move then toggle. Empty brackets, and we'll add our squiggly brace. You can hit return to make the brace go to the next line and give us this little bit of space. So we want to have two move forwards, and then we're going to go ahead and toggle the switch. Let's go ahead and call upon that function just to make sure it works. So move and then toggle. You can also start typing out the commands, especially when you have a lot of them to deal with, and it'll kind of narrow down with the autofill option which ones. All right, let's go ahead and test the move then toggle. Cool. I think the next thing is maybe expanding this to another function because we also want to return, right? We need to get back home. So I'm going to go ahead and remove our move then toggle for now, and I'm going to create another function. And let's call this one toggle then return. Empty brackets, add our brace, hit return for some space. And remember we learned before, we can actually call upon the functions within those other functions. Let's include a move then toggle. We're then going to want to turn around. We learned last puzzle. We can do that by doing 2 left turns. Because we need to return to the middle, or I guess wherever we're coming from, let's go ahead and add 2 move forwards. Okay, let's try putting this all together with our functions. And if we need to make changes, we can make some changes. I'm going to do 2 toggle and returns because my theory is going to go forward to where we are now. We're going to turn around, and then we're going to go toggle this switch here. Then return. We'll then need to turn a direction and go to the other ones. Let's just go ahead and try it out. So 2 toggle then returns, and we'll run our code. This should put us back in the middle. There's the first one. We're doing our return. Let's go ahead and toggle and return. Awesome. Going back to the middle. Okay, we have 2 choices. We can either turn left or right. I'm going to go ahead and turn right. So we're going to need to do a move then toggle. So we can get to this switch here. And then let's go ahead and do a toggle then return. So that should put us back on the switch. From there we can move forward twice. We'll do a move then toggle. And then we can do a move then toggle or a toggle and return, but this should complete out our pattern. So we should go here, here, up, then down. All right, let's go ahead and run this with each step through my code and see if I got it right. All right, this is our first action. We've already seen this before. We know that this works. Again, feel free to look at the left side to follow along with the code. I find it helps make tracking the commands easier. There's 2 out of 6. going back to the middle. All right, we're gonna turn right and let's see if I was correct. We're gonna do our move then toggle. There we go. And then we'll want to do the toggle and return, which should actually bring us back to the switch we're standing on right now. Okay, and then we should do 2 extra move forwards, go back to the middle. I think we got this. I'm gonna do 2 move then toggles. Come on, Blue, I know you can do it. And there we go. This is exactly how we solve problems in the real coding world. Building an app is really just a matter of finding solutions to tons of little problems, and after solving those small problems, we can combine those solutions into solving those bigger problems. So by just creating 2 functions and using a couple of extra commands, we were able to solve these puzzles. Nice work. You've just leveled up your coding game by creating your first functions. Clean, reusable code that makes your life way easier. Up next, we're going to take our logic even further with something every coder needs to know: loops. If you've ever copy and pasted a command 5 times in a row, trust me, there's a better way. And as a hint, you can even combine functions and loops together. You'll see how all these concepts start to help each other out and make your life a whole lot easier. So hit subscribe if you haven't already. Dream big, code bigger, and I'll see you in the next one.